Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Berserk, episode 19. Whoa, we're so close to the end.
Yeah,
oh
we
my
are.
Gosh.
We are indeed.
And Guts is leaving.
He is.
Guts is leaving. Casca is trying to convince him to stay. They are out in the snow.
Stay.
They're out in the snow last time we left them. And Casca did catch up with him.
Yeah.
So that's good. But the question now is basically there's a few options of what could happen here. Guts could leave. Casca could stay. They both could stay. Or they both could leave. Now, of those three options there, like, the one I like the most is both of them leaving. Like, let's be real.
I mean, yeah,
like they have had a connection that's been growing.
Yep. Oh,
Casca coming out in the snow, like, basically, like, what is she wearing even at this moment? Like a robe or something?
Nightgown, I think.
Yeah. Like, she is really not wanting him to leave. When someone comes to the airport, basically, and says, "Don't go!" Like, that's like cheesy romance stuff right there.
But it works here, and it's so good.
No, but like, this is that, though. I'm not going to say that she loves him, but, like, she's really going to miss him.
She really cares about him, but
yes, but I think it's also more of a thing of she's aware of what she will be missing when he leaves. Right. And also the other aspect of it.
Missing.
Yes, the other aspect of it is what Guts will be missing for sure. But that he is an integral member of the family now. He can't just leave in the dead of night. Yeah. Like that's a thing that, like, you know, thieves do and people that aren't a member of the family.
Well, and it's just like the idea that, like, he'd be leaving, but, like, oh, come on, like, not even saying goodbye.
Not even saying goodbye, exactly.
Like he had hinted, you know, so that Casca was thinking, like, okay, Guts might be thinking about leaving, but still, just leaving without a word. You know?
Right. Like, now, on some level, it'd be very cool to be like, whoa, like, Guts leaving, the only person who's, like, actually kind of surprised about all this is Corcus, and he's, like, throwing a party, you know, like... Woo! He's gone, and
then it's like he celebrates too soon. Guts comes back.
Yeah. That would be funny, but more so that a lot of the other members of the Band of the Hawk actually kind of understand, because with the way that Guts had kind of done so much for them, and it was his time to basically move on, it would be cool for them to be like, whoa, like Guts is Guts has found kind of his own way now.
Sure.
Like that,
or at least he's looking for it, you know.
Or at very least he's looking for it. And maybe some of the conversations that they've had with him over the time, or maybe if Casca stays, she can kind of be like,
explain it a bit.
He wanted to find his own dream, and he wanted to be like you, Griffith. He wanted to go out there and test fate and kind of go out there and just do what the best he can do. And Griffith might be like, whoa. Like, I did have a true friend.
I thought he might actually try and do that someday, but, you know.
But like, whoa, you know. So that's the thing. If they both stay, there's not really much story that can really happen other than the whole Zod stuff. So I think one of them, almost definitely Guts, but potentially even both of them could leave. And if they both leave, oh man, now, like, there's some cool things that could happen.
Now, you left out one other combination.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, Casca leaves and Guts stays.
Yeah. That's such a great combination, Mr. He who has seen the show before. Like on some levels, there's points where, like, Jacob is, like, not intentionally trying to throw me astray, but he'll say things that are, like questions that aren't, like, leading somewhere in the discussion. And this is, like, one of those ones that's so obvious, but I love when his face says it, like, even more so than his words. He's like, this is total bullshit, but, like... Alright, guys, we're excited for this episode, so without further ado, let's get into it. この世界には、スクリンドゥン、シカシャドゥン、何が超絶だ、Deets. Coming to... I know it's Kami. You know? So what they're saying is that Guts was fated to leave. buried in
say
his
that.
dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, like snow.
グリフィスとうまくいくといいな。
And he's being genuine about it. Oh.
おい
Oh! Oh, now they can say a proper goodbye. And Corcus! Wait! Corcus is actually gonna miss him! That's what that face means!
付き合えよ。
Wait. Why do they need to talk without Casca?
グリフィスならあいつを止めてくれるかもしれない。
Okay. So it's going to be a family goodbye thing. Like basically not necessarily a like.
But they're gonna power of friendship this, like, you know. try and get 'em
Right.
stay.
Well, it's more of going to be a thing of like, look at how far we've come,
Exactly,
Guts. And
yeah,
Griffith
yeah.
is going to be the point, the tip of the sword for this.
Right.
You know, like.
And then, of course, there's the question of will that actually help, or
Will
will
it
that
help or
push
will it
it
make it-
away even more?
Yes,
Put
exactly.
your glasses on, nothing will be wrong.
But I like the potential for it to be actually a way for Griffith to understand.
Sure.
Kind of why
'cause
Guts is
that
leaving.
would be an amazing conversation.
Right. On some level, though, you have to wonder at this event also being the kind of thing that could sunder Guts and Griffith, because we've been waiting for something like that to happen.
That's true.
And let's say in Griffith's position right now, he's like, I'm pulling rank, Guts. Like, you can't leave.
Late.
Like you're a subject, not a subject, but you're a servant of mine now.
Right.
Separation. Oh no! Spoiler alert! Oh, they have to go and have a drink and
不満でもあるのか。あるわけねえよ。
because they have to understand it.
この3年間は本当に楽しかった。
Yeah.
ずっと祭りでもやってた気分だぜ。不満なんてあるわけ。
Shut up, Corcus.
お前な。
Corcus, come on.
俺は高野団千人長のコルカス様だぜ。俺たちは旧国の英雄だからな。
This is one of those PCs that's like reveling in their own, you know, prowess and stuff.
お前は捨てちまおうってんだからな。
Just for himself, though, not for any of you. This doesn't him doing this doesn't threaten them in any way.
No.
Okay, Corcus, we get it. You have an inferiority complex, but you don't have to
俺は
be a dick about it.
剣を振るしか能のない人間。
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be just that. He wants to be more.
俺
Wow.
が初めて人を殺したのは
Self-aware
まだ右も
protagonist.
左も分からないガキの自分さ。殺して生き残る。それが全てだった。それでもよかったんだ。ただ一人、こ
Yeah.
っちを向いていてさえくれれば。
Oh.
だが、戦場を渡り歩いていて思い知らされて、
Whoa.
そんなもんは首の取り合いじゃ、ただのガキの泣き言だってな。
Whoa. Jeez, that's heavy.
Yep.
Oh.
出会っちまったんだ。本当に振り向かせたいやつと。
Notice me, senpai.
そいつは何一つ持ってはいなく、そして全てを手に入れようとしていた。あまりにも高みを目指しているがため、常に
way the
自分自
drums
身を極限まで研ぎ澄ましておかなければならない。俺は自分で手にする何かで
Yeah.
あいつの横に並びたい。俺はあいつだけには舐められるわけにいかねえんだ。
こそガキのたわごとだぜ。どう切ることしか能のねえおめえが切り込み隊長なんて溺水の立場にいられるのも全てグリフィスあったればこそだろうが。
Yeah.
Right.
俺が欲しいのはもっと別の
Drive.
自分で勝ち取る何かだ。
んなもんが簡単に見つかりゃ誰も暮らしゃしねえよ。
Oh, wow.
人間はよ、
Yeah.
自分の力量や器と自分の置かれた現実に
Yeah.
折り合いをつけてやっていくもんなんだ。
Whoa. Corcus could unravel right here.
虫図が走るぜ。の逃げ
Isn't it
小
great
僧
how
だ。
they're using this as a way to basically give development to
Yep.
someone like
Yeah.
Orcus? Even?
Yep. Yeah, what about
お前には
you?
ねえのか。
やってられっか。
You can't go back to sleep after you start asking the question.
あれや
Yep,
この
yep.
アマちゃんには使い切
Yep,
れ
you
ない。
gotta leave now, Corcus. Yep.
Yeah.
I love how Judo is very observant of all this, though.
最初から欲しがらないやつなんていないさ。送るよ。そこまで見つかるといいな。何かってのが。
Thanks, buddy. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
なあガッツ、お前キャスカを誘ってみちゃどうだ？
Oh, Judo, you.
あいつはグリフィスが
キャスカはグリフィスとは一緒にならないと、グリフィスの求めるものはただ一つだから。
Yeah.
シャルロット様をいただいちまうのが
Yep.
一番の近道。
Yep. I love that they use the word shortcut. Thank you so much.
お前どう思ってるんだ？
Yeah, what do you think of her?
キャスカはいい女さ。戦場で背中を任せられる女。あいつは俺にとって女という戦友なんだ。
だから
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
いや
Come on, Guts! Come on!
こいつが見つめているのはグリフィスだ。
What's that line about let the woman decide, you know?
お前なら結構脈あると見てたんだけどな。
Oh, yeah. Griffith and Casca. Oh, just the Band of the Hawk general members. You're so mean! How can you? Yes! Oh, Rickert!
Yeah.
リッケルト。
A little bit of snot coming out of his nose.
Yeah. Yeah. Griffith. Dang.
鷹の段を抜けるつもりなのか。
すまねえ。
つまねえじゃわかんないよ。ちゃんと説明してよ。鷹の段はガッツにとって家族同然のはずじゃないか。でも
黙れ。この際だから言っといてやる。
Here it is.
俺はてめえが電気になったんだよ。てめえは特別なんかじゃねえ。てめえはグリフスにはなれねえ。
Okay, now Guts, ignore that and talk to Griffith just a little bit.
世話になったな。
Where's Griffith right now? Why did it seem like he just vanished all of a sudden? Oh no, don't do it this way. Don't do it this way.
あの時言ったはずだ。お前は俺のものだと。
Yeah.
俺はこれでお前を勝ち取っお前の戦場も死も全て俺のものだ。俺の手の中から出ていきたいというならあの時と同じ剣で自分をもぎ取っていけ。
グリフィス。
笑ってじゃあなってわけにはいかねえのか。
Of course the sun rises.
二人とも本気なの？仲間同士で切り合うつもり？
どいとるキャスか。邪魔すんじゃね
何言ってるん
This is
だ。
it. This
真
is
剣な
it.
中でやり合ったら二人ともタダだ。
I mean, they're not trying to kill each other, but the thing is that Casca's
二人の問題だ。俺た
Casca's
ちが口を挟むことじゃない。
Casca's right in some way in that
お上品な生活が続いて忘れちまったのか。取られたら剣で取り返す。以前なら仲間が傷つくことになったとしても、
Yeah.
それがグリフィスの意志ならためらいはしなか
Yep.
った。
And that's Guts' influence in a way that
え。
makes
ま
him
るで敵で
special.
も見るような目だな。
I know. He's got the hawk eyes. What is?
たとえ憎
You know, in that talk on the fountain, they talked about going after your dream, even if it means
い切り合いで始まって。
So in a way,
with
maybe
me.
they could talk after this. After he basically says like, "You were standing in the way of my dream,
血
Griffith."
を流すぐらいの価値はあるってことだもんな。
グリ
The
フ
thing
ィ
is,
ス
by
な
doing
ら
this,
きっ
it's
とあいつを
something
止め
that
られ
could
る。
theoretically oppose Griffith's dream
Yep.
because of how useful he's been.
Yep.
So,
Exactly. So it's all
望
wrong.
んでいる。私は望んでいる。ガッツにいてほしいと。
むき出しの闘志が感じられない。それでいて隙がない。
Wow.
迷いのない目だ。
I don't think we've ever gotten Griffith's internal monologue before.
probably not.
そんなに出ていきたいのか。俺の手の中から
Whoa, this is huge.
許さない。だが手に入らないならそれでも構わない。
Whoa. See, it's that hesitation, that doubt in Griffith's like internal stuff that
Right.
makes this just perfect. And they strike. Yep. Jeez. Whoa. Holy crap. One strike.
And it's over.
グリフィス。
His hand is ringing with the
Yeah.
the feeling of. Wait a minute. We've never seen that face on Griffith.
No, we haven't.
Crap. And because they didn't speak about why this is Guts' dream. Oh man, is this all gonna be just one big miscommunication? What are you gonna do, Casca? It looks like she's deciding to stay, but it's out of sight.
行っちゃったよガッツ。振り返りもしないでさ。
And they play this
guys,
song like,
yeah.
大丈夫さ。道端で石ころにつまずいたようなもんさ。お前の行きたいところは
I'm so worried right now.
もう一度歩き出すさ。
Whoa, we've come full circle, guys. We've come full freaking circle.
yeah, and then they cut to the thunder and lightning and the
yep.
rain and
And it's kind of reminiscent of the way things were when...
in episode 1.
Yep,
Yeah.
in episode 1.
姫
And the snow is melting, you know, the fresh beginning.
早くところにお入りくださいまし。
わかりました。今日はもう下がっていいわ。
それでは失礼いたします。
Why are we seeing her at night alone? I have a bad vibe, Jacob. Yeah. Yeah, with the thunder and the ominous.
グリフィス様一体どうなさったのです雨の中こんな夜更けに
よろしければお部屋に上げていただけませんか。今誰かに見られたら姫様の名誉にも傷がつきます。
Crap. This is manipulative, Griffith.
失礼。
お会いしたかった。グリフィス様がご出立されてからいつか訃報が届くのではとずっと怖くて、戦場から戻られても恐ろしいことや悲しいことばかり。どうしてもっと早く会いに来てくださら
And
なか
he's
ったの
not
です。
even. Jeez. Whoa. Oh no. Oh no.
怖いのですか。恐ろしいことも
No.
悲しいことも火にくべてしまえばいい。
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. She is gonna leave. Look at her garb. Oh my gosh. Everything's falling apart. Everything is going wrong. No.
It is.
I
isn't
just
it?
want these people to be happy. Oh, my eyes are getting so hot. And she's gonna tell someone, jeez, bro, you messed up. And he knows it. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
Oh, he got hit a little bit. Oh, okay. If they ended the episode like that, I would have been like, holy crap, that means so much. Now we will talk about that in the discussion, but choosing to have that. Whoa. Wait. Oh, crap.
これは誰かと思えば次期白王将軍閣下ではありませんか。
Wow.
剣は
Yep.
話は後ほどゆっくりとお聞かせ願いましょう。
Bro.
言ったてろ。
Jeez. And he becomes king? Yeah, this is all boned, guys.
Yeah.
This is
Isn't
all
it?
so
Isn't it?
boned.
Isn't it? Like, yeah. Yeah, so separation.
I'm pissed, but I do think that
Yeah.
I do think on some level we were warned about this. So Griffith has his belief in his dream, right?
Yeah.
His belief in his dream, though, is here's the thing. He's mistaken a lot of times his belief in his own invulnerability to be his belief in his dream. And when those blend, you believe yourself incapable of making mistakes and also of also losing.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
I know there's other way to look at it.
Yeah,
But like, I wanted to bring the point up in that Guts basically denying him basically shattered the illusion for a second. And he fell back exactly to the place where he was at in the river.
Yep. That river.
Oh, God. Ah! Well, wonderful.
Did you see that coming?
No.
Yeah. Huh.
Okay. So, here's the thing. Guts leaving
Yeah.
was going to be a climactic event.
Right.
No matter what happened, really.
But this is probably like the worst.
This
way
is
it
the
could have
worst.
gone.
This
Yeah.
is the worst
Like-
timeline.
like,
This is the worst world line of this whole event.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. When you have a miscommunication drama, and you make it kind of petty, you make it kind of like just a small little like, oh, they slighted me. It's it kind of feels like, well, then why did we go through that at all in the first place? But
Exactly.
when you have a miscommunication drama where everything just goes horribly wrong because of a little thing there, you emphasize the importance of communication.
Yep.
So I am going to give this episode a pass in that Guts shouldn't have seen this coming, but
Right.
we do. So we're like, oh, I hope things don't go wrong, because in our minds we know things could go horribly wrong, but the thing is, they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to.
Exactly.
But the show is just like, oh,
Right.
no,
Well,
no.
yeah.
Because things went this way, things are going to go horribly wrong.
Horribly wrong.
Like,
And you know what's the best part about this? Griffith, the leader of the Band of the Hawk, has been taken. Guts is gone. Like, yeah.
that's all you have to say?
Well, like-
I thought you were
like-
going to say about the fact that we know Griffith can't die here. Like, do you
Well-
realize what the penalty usually is for sleeping with the king's daughter? Like, raping her?
Yeah. I'm
And
well
he's
aware.
not going to die? Generally, what they just do is be like, all right, put his head on the block and chop.
Right.
What are they going to do? Like, Griffith is boned. But here's the thing. There's all this fate and, like, Zod and
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
people are coming and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they want Griffith to succeed. Is it going to be like the devils descend to rescue Griffith? Like Griffith is going to be like their prize and they like haul him off and it's like, no.
Zod like bearing him up as he like flies into the night sky.
I am so terrified right now because like Guts leaving means that in some ways, I actually want to bring this up as a kind of a clever thing. So Guts, he was on some ways, he was railroaded into the Band of the Hawk. So
Yes.
anytime you see railroading in this show, it's the theme of fate, okay? But the thing is, Guts makes decisions
Right.
that break the railroad.
Yeah.
This whole thing was a decision. Okay? This
was.
show has this whole thing about fate and everything like that. The minute someone started thinking for themselves and making a choice about what they want, what ended up happening? Everything went wrong. Everything went wrong.
Yeah.
So what I actually see as a very cool like theme here. Casca is us. She's the observer. She's watching these forces of fate and free will clash.
Right.
And Griffith kind of represents fate, but he's an oxymoron, hypocrite, kind of mishmash of a whole bunch of things in that he wants to have both.
Right.
He wants to have
Exactly.
his free will as
While
he goes and
believing
tests
he's
his own
fated to-
fate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so he can't have-
that's great. You know, yeah. 'Cause-
Yeah, it's great for the contradiction of Griffith as a character, because
Yep.
Griffith as a character is fascinating.
Yeah, he's so
horribly flawed.
He's horribly flawed, but he's
so
so
fascinating.
so overwhelmingly human in that sense, and then just basically put to a magnified degree, right? Where he's in situations where he could potentially, you know, like we know he's going to be king, and all this stuff, all this amazing stuff is happening. But then, you know, like what's that thing that the Joker says? You know, all it takes is one bad day. Like, you know, like
yeah, all it takes is one bad day, guys.
Like-
and I've been waiting for the other side to drop essentially with Griffith, because Griffith has shown all the hints of being not necessarily like a pathological liar, but like a pathological like manipulator. Like essentially all the signs of a Machiavellian.
Right, and he's so good at it and so
psychopath,
smooth with it and
basically.
everything that it usually just goes out just fine. And
Right.
people are happy to be helping him with his stuff. But then, yeah.
Yeah, he was using language that denotes Guts was his slave. And
Well,
here's
he used that since the very beginning.
I know, but the thing is that he relied on it here.
Yes,
like an
right,
idiot.
right,
Like here's the thing that here's the
uh-huh.
thing that pisses me off
If
about
you had
Griffith.
just asked Guts like
Why?
some questions,
Just ask him some questions.
Why are you leaving?
Like Griffith has a charisma of 25, you know.
Right,
He hasn't maximized to get his plus, you know, what would that be? +7 modifier. But like he's so freakishly like charismatic that all he had to do is talk to Guts.
And the thing is, and here's the thing, like from how
he's
I
so
see it,
confident in his own.
Yeah. And the one of the ways that I see this scene is that, like, let's say he had asked why, right?
Yeah.
He says, "Why are you doing this?" And Guts basically says, "You know, I want to have my own dream. You know, and all that stuff, and being an equal and everything." Griffith probably still would have tried to stop him.
Yep.
But the thing is, it would have changed everything because even though he would have failed to stop him, it would not have sent him into that
spiraling depression, whatever this whole thing is.
Right.
Like, literally, Guts was completely blameless in this, but another thing that I do feel like Guts is partially to blame for all of this. Partially. I do think it's like 90%.
I mean, it
Griffith.
takes two to tango.
Yes, but all Guts had to say was, I've always looked up to you. Like, all he had to do was open up to him.
Right, yeah, like that part where he's leaving and Griffith is like down on in the snow like that, and he turns, he could have, instead of saying like, goodbye or whatever it was, he could have just said like,
he could have given like 20 seconds or 15 seconds of I've always looked up to you. And your dream has shadowed me.
And now I'm going to find my own.
And now I'm going to find my own.
Yeah.
Like if he had done that, and Griffith might not have heard him. Like, here's the thing: Griffith might have been so shocked already by that whole thing that he blots that out, and he's like, no. Like,
but the thing is that then he would at least like because I feel
it
like
would have rattled around in his head for enough time.
It would have rattled around in his head enough time because I feel like that face of Griffith. I love the expressions that they do in this show, especially with Griffith, and that one was one of those ones where it's like the circuits were shorting in his brain. And he's just like, what
I can't compute. What is going on?
This doesn't make sense. What is happening? I've always been able to sway people with my words, and that's not working. Like what
you're an idiot. You didn't use your words.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that in some ways Griffith has conflated so much of what he's done to be actually him.
Right.
In that, like, one of the things that I want to bring up that image really quick of him being alone and cradled and kind of in the fetal position is what that relates to is that he's finally realized how alone he is. So in a very specific,
the one person that was kind of an equal is now gone.
Well, that too, but one of the things that people who, okay, I want to be careful here. I want to be careful because we're dealing with the whole subject of sexual assault, rape, and people that have intimacy issues and stuff like that. But I feel like this is an example of where Griffith. Because of his position, because of his the bell jingling there, oh boy, because of his what he's done, he has lost his ability to be intimate with another human being. Truly. Now, what I mean by that is not in any way sexual intimacy or anything physical. I'm meaning just the ability to be emotionally intimate, to be vulnerable.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
So what happens is he puts up this air that he is invincible because of not just his actions, but because of all their actions.
Right.
So if he had asked everyone to kind of stand in front with him and be like, Guts, we're your family. Will you really snuff us all out?
Right.
Instead of making it all about him.
Right. Yep.
Then Guts feels condescended to.
Yeah.
Because if he felt like he actually understood Guts, he would know exactly how to do this. I understand Guts.
Right. Exactly. It's
even from Griffith's perspective.
Yeah.
This is something where Griffith felt personally affronted because he's so focused and everything
with his dream and everything. Yeah.
And
and it's one of those things where it's like Greek tragedy, fatal flaw.
So in some ways, I knew that this would happen. I knew that on some level,
something like this
would happen with Griffith.
Right. Because you know that is what the fatal flaw is that Griffith has, and then the question is how is that going to play out? How is that going to make a schism? Whatever.
Right. So the schism has happened. It's official. Like this is horrible because here's the thing: communication won't happen anymore unless here's the thing: unless Casca. Here's the thing: unless Casca delays her leaving long enough to make Guts aware of what's going down here. Now. Here's the thing, though. I don't want Guts to be aware of what's going on here. On some level, I want Casca to, get to Guts and be like, no, you need to make amends with Griffith. Like she doesn't know necessarily what happened because maybe this was all in the night. All things are happening simultaneously and stuff. And Guts is like, no, we understand each other. And Casca's like, no, you don't understand. Griffith is way more fragile than you understand him to be. I understand Griffith. You understand what has been projected out. Like, do you remember what I told you about the river?
Right, exactly.
You should be thinking
we've
about
both
that.
seen different sides of Griffith that the other person hasn't really seen.
So what he could do is he could come back, and it could be kind of a thing of like where
getting like just fixing all the
well essentially
all the stuff that's
trying to
happened.
find a way to Griffith's in a mess of his own making.
Yeah.
But finding a way to communicate to Griffith before it's too late. Like, trying to find a way to communicate to him, like, basically the truth of this whole thing. But the thing is, I don't think that's going to happen either. So I am completely at a loss now, because now, basically, we've... Okay, you know what this actually is?
What?
This is hilarious, but... You know when a PC, like, doesn't come to the gaming session that day?
Yeah.
And the GM pilots the PC? And then the PC comes back and finds out that the GM ran them into this whole thing. No, I'm talking about fate here, Jacob.
Right.
Talking about fate.
Yeah.
Guts made a choice. We got to bring back this whole thing. Guts made a choice. It ruined the path of fate for Griffith. In some ways, Griffith had a choice at this point of what to do. And because he made a choice to do things alone. All he had to do was go and fall back on the Band of the Hawk and his family.
Even just go to Casca and be like, I don't know what to do. People make bad choices when they're mad or scared or stressed.
And what he does, and this is something that I want to be very careful here. I want to be very, very careful here. But I think it is very apropos in the story that Guts, who gave his body essentially to be... I know it was his consent to go and... the Duke of Doldre, the guy, whoever it was, basically gave himself up to him.
Griffith, you said Guts.
Did I say Guts? Okay, Griffith did that. That aspect, I because of the age difference and because of the whole thing there, I don't believe that the entire act was consensual with Griffith. I think Griffith went in there knowing I'm not going to have any control over what happens once I go to basically sleep with this guy.
Sure. So, and from the state that he was at
after in the river, he was not happy about that whole thing. He was very regretful and very, I would say, more shameful of himself. That's why he turned to self-harm. Now, here's the thing though: when someone carries deep shame and regret over a thing that has been done to them. Now, I want to be careful here.
I see where you're going.
It is quite often a thing that can become a pattern for them to do to others.
Yes.
Now, I think the reason why Griffith did this essentially to Charlotte is, one, because he could. Now this is where we can't forgive Griffith here. He did this because he could. He did this because it was easy and because he could manipulate her and he could get some sick pleasure out of it. But here's the other thing. I think the reason why he did it is also self-hatred, because he equates the guy at Doldry in a way to be someone he can't even look upon with any feeling or anything.
And it's another one of those situations where it's, for something that I desire, I will basically, try and form a sexual connection with somebody, right?
I don't think he was thinking straight at all about what he wanted.
No. But beforehand with him, basically wanting to marry the princess and all that stuff,
Yeah, he threw that away. In his mind, there was... I can't believe there was anything in his mind where he was convinced that this would help his goal in any way.
No,
this was
absolutely
because
not.
He felt horrible. This is because he was wallowing in all the depression.
It's one of those things where
negative emotions.
Because Griffith does such a good job all the time, almost all the time, 99.8% of the time, at basically putting up that front of, all right, I'm invincible, right? And it gets people to be able to believe in him. He doesn't have practice with the kinds of things that, say, Guts has had to deal with, of, you're basically your father coming to kill you in the middle of the night, and then you have to go fend off a bunch of wolves while you've got an arrow in your shoulder, right? The things where it's like, I have just had a shit day, and I have to somehow deal with it, right?
Yeah.
He's not used to that. So when he has something like this happen, he does not know how to process it. And because there's no Casca and there's no river, this happens, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Griffith raping Charlotte was specifically because it's the kind of thing that was, you know, something that he could do, but I think also it's revealing a need. I say the reason why he did this specifically to get intimacy rather than going to any like brothel. Like here's something that I think to be a little bit interesting here, is that on some level Griffith finds the act of taking something that is like impossible, like something.
Sure, right. It's the idea that this is the princess, you know.
Well, yes, I know that he could manipulate her and stuff, but I think Griffith has unfortunately gotten a bit too much enjoyment out of his own power, his own ability to control things, because all he had to do, if he was just wanting, because he doesn't, my point is he doesn't just want sexual intimacy with someone. He's revealing a need in that he has an actual compulsive desire to manipulate, to control, and to actively like dominate someone for his own gain. That revealed here, but that's because he's in a negative place. But I'm saying that he also has a need for actual legitimate intimacy in combination with that. This is all very fascinating.
Which is why he did this specifically.
Right. Why he didn't go to a brothel or something like that. Because it's not just because he needs to get his rocks off or something. No. But the other thing is that, like, this is something that I think is very important here, is that this is born out of a lot of shame and self-hatred. If he wanted to be even more disgusting. Now, this is the kind of thing that I feel like he wouldn't do because it actually is harder. I think the reason why he went to Charlotte is because he's not thinking straight, so he's not thinking about the repercussions of this. Yeah, it's easy for him to manipulate Princess Charlotte. Okay?
Sure.
But the thing is that there's another person who he really cares a lot about, who he could probably manipulate. Probably. Maybe not now, since this whole thing with Guts happened. And that's Casca. And I almost wish he had tried to force himself on Casca. Because Casca would have said no.
Exactly. Because Casca would have been like, "What are you doing? All right, let's talk. Let's like sit down here, and we'll talk through this."
Tears.
There would have been tears. It would have been an amazing, beautiful moment of Griffith basically realizing that he actually has to be vulnerable with somebody because he is at a low point that he's never, really been at before. He doesn't know how to process this, and he needs other people there with him.
Right. I think that this is just to show how low Griffith has also gotten as well. Is that if this was a different time, if this was the river, this is my point, is that he is lower than he was at the river.
Right.
Which is saying something, because when we saw the river thing, that was low.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Self-harm low.
Yeah.
This is lower than that, because when he was at the river and Casca was like, "I'll leave," he's like, "No, don't leave. I need your company." I don't think that things would have gone that way if she stayed at the river. But I think that if Casca hadn't been there for him to process this whole thing out, and he stayed for some reason in a lower place, it could have turned to that.
Right, when he finally came out of that, he would have basically, since he was at a breaking point where it's like, okay, he's going to make a decision of how he's going to move forward, and that's going to kind of change how he approaches life and stuff like that. And if he had been in that state without somebody there with him, then it could have gone much worse. And oh boy.
Okay, so Guts, brilliant stuff. The idea that we know how his character responds to these kinds of things makes it so I can't really fault him for the miscommunication.
Right.
I do put about 10% to maybe even as little as 5% on him in this, in that he could have said just a little bit of something. But the thing is, it was still Griffith's choice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Now here's the thing that's really cool though, is that Guts in this episode told multiple people in the Band of the Hawk kind of about this whole thing.
Everyone except Griffith, really.
That's the thing. Everyone except Griffith. But I want to point out that I think the reason why he didn't tell Griffith
is because he's like, you should already know.
Well, no, is that okay? So the reason why he told Casca, kind of the gist of it. She didn't get everything, and just in the same way, Judo didn't get everything.
Yeah,
I think Judo might have actually gotten a little bit more though than Casca did on some way.
Judo is very perceptive.
You notice like what the scale thing is here on the levels of which Guts cares about the person. He tells less to the people he cares about. Now, here's the thing. Guts had someone that he cared about. And Guts mentions it at the tavern.
Yep.
And all he said he needed to not be in this whole mess was for them to actually like care about him.
But they didn't.
He wasn't that lucky.
Right.
He wasn't that lucky.
Yeah.
Guts is kind of just an unlucky magnet. Like things just go badly around him. And the thing is, it doesn't really go badly for Guts. Like it's really the things that happen around him.
It still goes pretty badly for Guts.
I mean, it does. It does. Yeah. It's basically like the universe dealt him a pretty bad hand, and I like the whole connection to fate and stuff. But Guts kind of keeps making his choices that carry him past that, which is pretty cool. So I think the reason why he didn't tell Griffith, and he told Casca a little bit about it, and he told Judo, I'd say even a little bit more than her, is that because that's kind of his order of how he cares. Corcus, he cares about him, but barely.
Yeah.
Judo, he cares about a little bit more. Judo has shown interest in Guts' safety and protection. He trusts Judo a little bit more.
Yeah.
So he tells him, a lot. And in some ways, he's so upfront with Corcus, he shatters Corcus's illusion for a second so much that he has to leave. So in some ways, Guts actually confronted.
Yeah.
He didn't
He did a verbal confrontation with somebody.
What?
Yeah.
This is the barbarian with 6 charisma.
That says, I just like to swing my sword. Yeah.
Right. Why is he doing a verbal... See, that's the thing. Guts has changed.
Yep.
But then as you go towards Judo, he's told just a little bit,
Right.
But a lot more than Casca, who's told a decent amount.
Yep.
And then with Griffith, he cares about him so much, he doesn't want to be looked down on by this guy in any way by saying, in some ways, anything vulnerable to Griffith. Because when Guts has revealed vulnerability to people in the past that he really cared about, he's been betrayed.
Yep, and one of the things that I love about how they basically bring that up here is that he probably would have been up for being vulnerable with Griffith. But what was that thing he mentioned in, when he was talking with Judo and Corcus?
Yeah.
Griffith, he thought Griffith was, vulnerable with him, told him about his dream and all that stuff. He's like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, I guess maybe not.
Maybe I don't mean anything to him. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's really
the
really
words
cool how
that
you
can change people's lives for better or worse.
It's really interesting how you can trace back this whole just horrible sequence of events back to, I mean, yes, there's the whole meetup and things like that, but it's probably that fountain bit there.
Sure.
Because Guts was... Didn't they do the time skip before that? Guts was happily 3 years with the Band of the Hawk up to that point, and had gone on many missions with them.
And that was just after he had killed Julius.
Yes.
Yeah.
And basically Griffith asked Guts to do something that he wouldn't have asked anyone else.
Right. And Guts did it at very high risk to himself. He comes back, he's bloodied and and all that stuff. Like he's almost he was almost delirious. Like he almost started walking up to Griffith while he's talking to the princess, covered in blood, both his and the king's brother. And then while he's in this low point where he's basically done everything that Griffith asked of him, right? He hears Griffith say, basically, what he interprets
I
as,
wouldn't consider any of them true friends.
Yeah,
I would only
I don't
consider
really care
a true friend
him.
is someone that would be equal.
Yep.
All Guts is doing is basically saying, Senpai, I just wanted you to notice me.
Yep.
But no, you had to treat me like a dog. And
recognition. Babies cry for it.
Yes,
and
grown men die for it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well said.
That. Yeah.
Oh. So, what's going to happen at some point.
Yes.
I think that, unfortunately, that the way that this show's pacing is going, we could get one really big talk near the end, and that would be really cool. But what I want to see is Guts yelling at Griffith, Guts like being like, I did this all for you. I like, and he's like crying and breaking down. He's just like angry and like just yelling this all at him. And Griffith,
wouldn't that be amazing?
And Griffith like actually is like breaking down as well. And the thing is that like I see them as being like worlds apart in terms of like actually like understanding each other.
Right.
But like I want to see Griffith yell back. Yeah, I want to see Griffith yell back and basically show how much Guts doesn't really understand Griffith, and that, like on some level, the schism was fated. On some level, like.
Yeah, the White Hawk and the Black Swordsman.
They were never destined to dine at the same table. They were never destined to fight together. That was something that, like, maybe on some level, when we look at this whole thing with Zod and we look at the whole idea of them essentially having Griffith be some kind of tool that they're using for the whole the Great Eclipse and the Devil's Descending and stuff like that, and the Behelit of the Crimson Behelit of the God Hand. Thank you. Yeah. All that hooty ha and stuff is basically something that keeps maybe on some way Griffith and Guts separated, and Guts coming into the whole story was something that Zod, when they fought at that whole bit there, like he made the prophecy maybe in such a way so that the schism would happen. Like,
who knows?
Zod,
butterfly effect. Like,
yeah. Who knows with the butterfly effect? But just that Zod's presence potentially actually having some effect on, maybe subconsciously, just with Guts as to. No, but I think I'm reaching there. Yeah. Oh man, but the themes, guys. This show gets the themes.
And then there's always that part at the beginning that just gets even more meaningful as the show goes on of, at least it is true that mankind has no control, not even over his own will.
Yeah. I do think though that this story, while it is centered around the idea that fate is more powerful than free will, that's
free will
also
is pretty powerful too.
Well, no, but that's also the opinion of a singular being.
That's a great point.
Like, the idea that the narrator is someone that, like, at some point in the story, maybe not necessarily like anytime soon or what have you, but we'll meet that person.
It's possible.
And the narrator essentially is going to be someone that basically goes, yeah, I believe, or basically like maybe this is God. I would say on some level, because they're talking about God, they're not like God or whatever, but there's some kind of being that's, great or whatever, that has some great perspective on things. And their ideology is that, free will is essentially an illusion.
But then how much of that could just be that if, this is some being with some very, like, high-up perspective, then they don't see all the little details. They're not in there, so they don't really see the power of free will because in their mind it doesn't really play a part. But then, from the standpoint of, like, people, that this is huge.
Right. I love how that can get you to question the whole meta narrative of the story in wondering which parts were potentially free will and which parts were evidence of fate. No, actually it was all fate. Kind of things.
Yep.
Because it's a very almost fourth wall breaking aspect because that there's someone penning this whole story. But I feel like that's more evidence because Griffith and Guts are so diametrically opposed just in terms of the story, is that one of them is basically the hypocrite that represents fate, and one of them is the lost soul that represents kind of free will.
Or are they both?
That's the other thing, is that the narrative seems to get you to question whether or not it's separate at all. Which
is great, because it makes you ask questions, and that's fantastic for stories to do. So.
Guys, I love this story. I love this story so much. I don't really know how to emotionally react to this whole thing, because I feel like on some level my brain and my heart and everything is telling me, like, just steel yourself, bro, because I know Griffith and Guts both have to live through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And some way Griffith still becomes king.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what's like crazy is that I don't think like, okay. If you caught someone raping your daughter, and you weren't gonna kill them, what would you do? Like, I don't want to say it, but like castration comes to mind. Like, you know, starving them and just
locking them in a dungeon,
humiliating them in a dark dungeon where they never see light again for the rest of their pitiful existence. Yeah. I think whatever the king does to Griffith will be completely justified. I think that I'm not going to be happy like the next couple episodes though. Like I know that this is Griffith's pit he dug himself into. Yeah, but I love on some level, even though I know he has to dig himself out in some ways, which I do find some sick idea, like of
anticipation of like how it's going to happen. How
he can do that.
Well, right,
because maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope that if the Band of the Hawk, oh God, maybe that's how this whole thing is. The Band of the Hawk stages like a coup to save Griffith. Like, oh boy.
Well, and that's one of the things that I absolutely love with how Berserk does this narrative, because okay, if you think about something like this, right? If this were to happen in a story that wasn't so like didn't have that big theme of fate and things like that, and you didn't know the end before it happened, I could see this being completely kind of pointless. Like you don't end up basically seeing the value of it because you're like, okay, yeah, I know he's going to get out of it though. But by saying somehow Griffith is going to become king, you know this. But with something like this, how is that possible, right? It makes you ask questions, right? And it's basically being upfront and kind of almost vulnerable with the reader that yes, this character has plot armor, right? You know,
as if fate has touched them.
Exactly. So
it's so genius, actually.
Like, isn't it amazing?
Like I would say that the aspect of having us know some point in the future beyond this and having the whole themes of fate versus free will be involved, it's sickeningly genius.
So good.
Because we know on some level that like these guys are going to be alive. But like we didn't see Griffith in episode 1. Like we don't know if he's like a puppet king, if he's, actually king. We don't know like why he was made king,
because there was so much and so little that was actually like shown in the first episode.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So yeah, we know just enough to tantalize us and like make us just drive us crazy. But at the same time, there's so much mystery about everything.
Oh, that we're just like, guys, this show, I can feel like a sick feeling in my stomach. Like I know this show. Oh, because here's the thing. The thing.
Yeah.
You know who we didn't see in episode 1? You know who I want to have the happiest of endings, because I don't. It's Casca, and I feel like she's going to be safe if she goes to Guts. That's why I kind of don't want Guts to be known about all this stuff there, because Guts might come back with her. I want them to go off. I want the story to split. I want there to be some way so
that at least the two of them can be like happy together.
Yeah, the problem with that though is that we don't see Casca with Guts in episode 1. He's alone.
Right. Yeah.
And he's haunted. Like there's like stuff
like quite literally
haunting him.
Yeah.
So maybe she has to leave for her own safety or something.
Sure.
We still haven't figured out like why Guts had the
brand,
this thing. Yeah. Yep. Oh man, everything's gonna come to a head here. But we still have a lot of episodes, actually.
We do. This is only episode 19. That means
now that I think about it, I thought this was actually
20,
like
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. There's 6 episodes left.
So when I was initially thinking, episode 19, we're coming up on the end. Once this happened, now I'm like, oh crap, we're not even close to the end because in 2 or 3 episodes, everything could change. Like, oh crap.
Yeah. Oh boy. Wow.
You're just loving this, aren't you?
I am loving this so much. Like,
all right, guys. Well, I've had it. I'm done with the discussion. I might have forgotten things or what have you, but I feel like with just what we've done so far with Guts and Griffith's characters weaving through each other's plots, I could write an essay on just that. I could write a dissertation on why this show is genius and why the character dynamics are genius. But I don't want to do that right now. I want to go take a rest and breathe a bit. So guys, if you want to watch the next episode, which is probably going to have me suffering in some way and this guy gleefully smiling, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and taunt me in the comments or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to be in the spoilers section of that.
But I will.
Well, don't you have to be careful? There's manga.
Oh, that's right.
In there.
Yeah, maybe YouTube comments, for this one because
okay,
that way we can.
Well, anyway,
have some fun at his
if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob,
and we'll see you all next time.